East Van Dan shit show.
How many have you done now over this year? You got quite a bit up on your channel.
Yeah, I got, not including the 5 that I have to release, I think there's 24 up.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Anyways, we're rolling.
Hell yeah. We
Yeah.
are rolling. We are rolling.
Please welcome.
Razorvoice. I'm
That's
Ben.
you guys.
Yes, this is us. Minus Finn, who is sound checking right now with Dangerbox.
Yeah.
Who is just awesome.
Wait, Finn's in your band?
Yeah, dude.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Finn's playing bass with us. It's been a blast.
Huh.
We've been doing some writing together. We just recorded 2 new songs together beginning this year, live off the floor. Brand new song that we wrote 3 days before a Halloween show. We're like, what would be a song that would serve playing a punk basement on Halloween? And then, so I started writing this song, brought it to the guys at rehearsal like the day before we did it, and it's developed into this rad natural blossoming of our sonic souls into this song. It's called Masquerade on this brand new EP. Well, it's more than an EP. It's this mixtape called 2020 Eyes. And so there's 12 songs on here that I've been working on throughout 2020. And it's a cool evolution because the first song I did completely myself called Cut My Teeth, which is just me getting ready to cut my teeth in this Razorvoice project of bringing positive punk rock energy. And then like there's a progression of me writing the songs, recording all the parts, producing it myself, and then bringing in these awesome dudes who I totally respect and trust, and we're getting to blossom it out into this rad thing that's us. And luckily, like, we have Finn on board, and he's bringing such a rad energy, and we're friggin' stoked for where it's going.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Huh, that's weird. I did not know Finn was in the band.
Surprise!
In the band. I was like wondering why you're like, well, I think Finn should join us. I'm like, no, I did an interview with him last month. I did not. Sorry, I did not know. Like, when did you guys form?
Razorvoice started when I was living in LA back in 2014. And I was getting to do songwriting with a huge mentor of mine named Marco DeSantis from a band called Sugar Cult. And he was like one of the first guys that I got validated by as a songwriter. And Marco toured in a band called Sugar Cult, who toured with Blink-182 and Green Day, and had all these stories of like him being a great songwriter himself, having all these stories touring with all these guys that I looked up to as a total fantasy, like just made me see how much of a reality writing songs is and engaging with the world. And he inspired me so much, and moved back from LA to my roots to just reconnect with my own story, and like was sick of the concrete jungle there, was looking forward to come back to the temperate rainforest that we're so lucky to grow up in and write our own story. And right now we're in the middle of writing our own story. And it's just so blessed. We've done 5 days together. And so this is day 5 of 5 coming back to the island. And we're working on these songs, reconnecting with old friends and making new friends along the way, and just inspiring people to raise their voice as we raise ours.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awesome lineup tonight. Well, you guys, Dangerbox, of course.
Yeah, and We Are Not a Cult.
Yeah.
Who are from Penticton.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've gotten to work with them on the mixing side of things. I've been doing lots of live sound in Victoria.
Oh, sweet.
And so I got to meet those boys. They bring such a fun show. They're doing like wrestling shenanigans, and they're super fun. It's going to be a blast.
Are they in a cult?
We're going to have to find out.
I'm going to find out. That's the first thing I'm going to ask them.
Yes.
I'm just going to ask them, are you guys Scientologists?
Yeah, we will see. Is there any cults going on here in Nanaimo?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Maybe they're going to start a brand new one.
However, the rehab that I was in, they were a bit of a cult.
Yeah?
They were a little culty.
Cult-y.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the word on the street anyways.
Culty. It's better than being cunty.
Yeah, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's cool to have cool tees like these Razorvoice t-shirts that we'll have for sale tonight. I don't have any on me right now, though. Yeah, and it's just cool to see what's going on in the Nanaimo scene here.
Yeah.
Like here at the Globe, it's awesome to see all ages shows happening so much for a safe place for kids to go and express themselves.
Yeah. I would say hands down, this is the best venue. Not just because Rich lets me fucking podcast here, but in general, you know, like it's like every like third night, there's like a great lineup of bands. And you don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah, and so it's been pretty consistent here.
Oh,
like
yeah.
People are just like, where do we go? Do we just go out to the Globe, and that's what's like become the spot to go?
Yeah.
Great.
That's what it seems to be.
It's like
going down like that.
Gilman Street in San Francisco. That is what this is hoping to become, in my mind. I hope. Are you familiar with Gilman Street?
No, I am not. I've never been to San Francisco, actually.
Okay, are you guys familiar with Gilman Street? So Gilman Street is a venue where so many bands like Operation Ivy and Green Day got their start. It was an all ages joint, but it became this hub where just like all these bands who grew up like and exploded in the 90s kind of had their foundational start. And it was an all ages space. People would go there, create, experience just like new songs, get inspired to have new bands, and it's just a great hub that everybody continue to go to, and it's still around today, which is super cool. And so it's cool to see that Rich is running this and has a long-term plan, and it's already been in development now for how long?
Well, a little bit about the Globe's history. It used to be a boob bar. And actually, when I was in high school, my friend and my father, on a school night, of course, they brought home one of the dancers.
Yeah.
And there's actually a picture of me with the naked stripper still circulating on Facebook somewhere.
Yeah.
I would love to find that. I think my buddy Andrew from Wise Young Blood, that is a plug, has the knows of where the photo is. If we could find that photo, that'd be really great.
So you got introduced to some beauty early on. How young were you at this point?
Not that young, 16, 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Got to have the strip club come to you instead of sneaking into the strip club yourself.
That was a very good night. There was a lot of talk about me around high school.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. So like, what kind of bands did you guys grow up on?
I'm gonna pass this to Saul right now to hear what Saul grew up on. So Saul Sitar on lead guitar. He's also in a kick-ass band called Hawking. And this would be, will everybody in the room give a big hand clap to Saul Sitar on lead guitar?
Thank you for that introduction, Ben. I'd say in terms of my influences, I really grew up on a lot of progressive music, progressive metal.
You just mentioned Protest to Hero.
Yeah, definitely big on them. Between Buried and Me, like lots of very adventurous guitar stuff that was challenging to learn. That was really my jam. And of course, before that, it was a lot of pop punk and kind of like what initially inspired this band as well, which is, it's kind of cool, like coming back to my roots and yeah,
sweet,
doing this kind of music.
Sweet, love it.
Cool.
How
Now
about
you. I want to know about
You.
you.
How about this guy in the corner? Who's
Yeah.
this guy? Yeah, pretty varied. Like when I was younger, it was like, you know, Paul Simon, like Graceland, and then like Boney M and Jethro Tull, just like kind of this weird mix of music. And then me and my brother started getting into music, so my older brother kind of formed my initial opinions about music, and it started with like Nirvana for like 2 weeks, and then we're like Tool, and we just got super into Tool, and then from there it's some like more hardcore and heavy bands. And I had a brief stint of being really into pop punk, and like in high school there was a pretty good all ages scene.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my first intro to like these social shows and the sort of community around it, but it was relatively short lived for me, and then ended up, you know, getting into jazz and all sorts of world music, and just kind of been all over the bloody map, and like a couple times So I'm having a blast actually playing for the first time, like pop punk. Now.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
And you're freaking rocking it.
It's fun, man. It's very, very different challenge than all the other stuff I do.
So, who would be like the most popular band member?
Like with the ladies, or what are we talking
In
about?
general, overall. Who's the best? Who's the
It's
best
obviously Finn.
musician? Who's the coolest? Who gets laid the most?
Well, for best musician, I would say that would have to be an arm wrestle between these two. Because they're just like, well, Saul, we're calling him the hunk of punk right now, is what he's got titled with. And then, but Alex has been so versatile in so many different bands and so many genres. And then, for who gets the most ladies, none of us are actively pursuing. I feel like we're all so focused on music right now that we have no time.
We're cultivating our chi.
Yes, yeah, we are cultivating our chi, and we are saving our energy for the Sonic release. But I think on this tour, if we're tallying up texts for requests of sexual satisfaction, you gotta read this one that I got last night. That is, I got super respect for it. But then, what would you guys say about Finn? Hold on, I gotta bring up this text right now. Wait. So we have to rate each member. Is what are the 4 classes?
No, who's the most popular regarding all those categories?
I think Finn is just he's the most popular. He's got the whole scene
I
going.
doubt that. He's not even here.
Yeah.
Because he's so tapped into it.
I can never decide if like when someone isn't in the room is when you like dig on them the most or compliment them the most. I'm going the complimenting route.
Well, he's definitely the most ambitious. I mean, he's over there working. You guys are like in here, just chilling
in the green room.
talking about punk bands and whatnot. So the EP, did you already say where you guys recorded this?
So it is quite the hodgepodge. So the first song on here, Cut My Teeth, that was recorded in Victoria. Both Alex and I are in the shared warehouse space. And so over the pandemic, I recorded this song completely by myself, and that was all there. And then the second song, Follow It to In Front of You, those were recorded over in Vancouver, and we got to have Theo Goutsanakis from Gob produce them.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, which is super cool. And we got to record the drums at a studio I've been looking to record at forever called The Armory. And I wanted to go there because Gob recorded Mortos Fortos. Wait, I totally butchered the name of that. Mortos is usually, it's just called, I don't even know what the second word is properly said. It's Spanish, and I'm not that great at Spanish, admittedly.
Is he Spanish?
No, he's not. He's Greek. He's Greco.
So why is it Spanish? Do you know?
Because it was a play on like death and rebirth, that whole record. So it's kind of about that like celebration of death. It's all about that. And it was in 2008. But the drums were recorded there. They sound freaking amazing. And Paul Silvera was the engineer on that record. And I remember when I moved back from LA, I timed it so that I would get to see God play for my first time seeing them, because they weren't playing for a good while. I'm like, oh my god, they're playing with a new record release. I need to catch it. So I went, drove back from LA just to catch them play. Got there just in time to catch them. And then at the end, waited around to run into Tom, the singer and songwriter of that band. Met him. I was like, dude, like, you inspired me so much. I just moved back from LA, looking for any possible mentors and like where I should increase my engineering chops. He's like, Paul Silvera at the Armory. So I'm like, okay, I'll remember that. And then the cool thing is, like 10 years later, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to record these songs within BC and highlight the talent that's here. I'm like, I want to reach out to Paul. And so I reached out to Paul, showed him the songs. He's like, dude, we got to get Theo involved on this. So then we got Theo involved, and we got to record these 4 songs together. Follow It, Color Book, Dirty Little Love Songs, and In Front of You. And then the interesting thing is when we released Follow It came out on the day, the 10-year anniversary of that record I went to go to the show for. So it was like a full cycle of like 10 years later, listen to what Tom said, connecting with Paul Silvera, and then so there's that cool little God connection. We got to record on their gear, like their Soldano. The Theo Soldano is just a super special amp that sounds
I used to
so
have a
sweet.
Soldano.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sweet. Was it an SL100?
No, it was an Avenger.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, and then so those 5 songs, the first 5 songs were all done like myself, and then on 6 and 7, I co-wrote 2 songs with Glenn Willows from the legendary band Harlequin, who are from Winnipeg. Do you know any Harlequin?
No.
They have their biggest
Harlequin?
Yeah, Harlequin. Like, they're one of those radio bands that growing up in Canada, like, we know their songs. Like, it's just in our DNA. Their biggest one is Innocence.
Well, they can't be that big. I haven't heard of them.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. Did you grow up here on the island?
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm from Then Island.
Okay. Super awesome classic rock 80s band that are super fun. So we co-wrote 2 songs together with Glenn, and then we recorded them. It was us 3, and then the other bassist that we had playing with us at the time was Coast God. He's a rapper, and I was recording his vocals for his project. Then I brought him on board for Razorvoice stuff. But go check out Coast God. He's amazing. He has a song called Don't Forget to Forget Me, and it's blown up. Like, he was getting to just live as a rap artist for 3 years because this song blew up for him.
Oh,
yeah. And yeah, it's so inspiring to see people living off their art, and it's been a blessing to do co-writing with him. Like, we became brothers, but he's just not at a place to tour in his life, so we just do co-writing together. But the 4 of us together got to record live off the floor I Hate You and Hourglass, which was a song co-written with Glenn. And so that was done in Victoria at another private studio, and then we finished mixing it all ourselves at our own private studio, Raise Your Voice Records, which is like the play on words of Razorvoice and Raise Your Voice. So recording other people, I always call it Raise Your Voice, and it's all about inspiring everybody to raise their voice and like just have art come out in a positive way, even if it's processing all the crazy negative shit that we're going through. There's a positive light to send our gratitude. And then their next songs, Death Won't Kill My Vibe and Masquerade, we recorded these ones with Finn at the beginning of this year in January, live off the floor. And yeah, we're so stoked on how those turned out. And then Undone and Not Ready, those 2 songs were co-written with Coast God. And that was also done up in Victoria. And then the last song's just right now, this is just a mixtape. We're figuring out what the sequencing is going to be for like this record to put out, but we're just selling this to people as we go around so people can have a chance to hear the songs and see what resonate and kind of release this out as a community together. So it's quite a mixed up hodgepodge.
I love it when bands have their fucking own CD.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes you don't. You know, you go to a show and like there's not a CD.
Yeah.
And,
right.
Yeah. I don't like that.
And it's like you gotta have something to take home with you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Especially if you connect with them, and then like it's cool that you get to have this thing that you get to turn on, and then it brings you back to the show and the memories that you had from there, and then like you get your own memories attached to it. And I'm curious, what was the first CD that you ever got?
This actually came up. I did a podcast with Bob Log the Third last week, I think. First, well, actually, it was 2 at the same time. I think I was 8. I bought The Soft Parade, The Doors, and AC/DC Highway to Hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. And do you still have them?
No, I don't.
I think my first ever CD that I got, I was gifted. It was the Baha Men Who Let the Dogs Out.
Nice.
What was yours, Alex?
I'm trying to remember. It's probably either In Utero or one of the Tool albums.
Really?
No. Hold up a sec. Which album do you prefer? Nevermind or In Utero?
Never mind.
Same. That's
Yeah.
opposite.
Yeah.
What were you? I'd say mine was, I think it was Chaos, Joyful Rebellion. It was a good album.
Really?
Yeah.
Hip hop.
Yeah.
Nice.
Did you buy it?
I bought that one. Yeah, that was like one of the first ones that I bought. Back in the days where you could like go into Best Buy and like scan a record and like listen to a few seconds of it.
If you happen to be passing through Vancouver, BC, please stop by Whiskey Six Barbecue. Hands down, #1 ribs ever. That's Whiskey Six Barbecue, located in Vancouver, BC. Be there or be square, baby.
Like, it went from everybody being on like 80s Sunset Strip, tight pants, long hair, into a whole culture shift of like grunge music and everybody dressing up like they're from Powell River, which is actually a story that I heard from Chris, the bassist. When they did a tour, they went through Powell River, and what influenced them to be wearing plaid all the time was seeing all these like forestry worker fishermen just looking super laid back and chill wearing this plaid. And there's some story, I wish I could find the interview, but I was like, that's a cool little tidbit. Go Powell River for being an inspiration of the grunge movement. Hey, that's cool. Yeah.
Punk rock is an era of music, I think, that never really like, you know, it never really like died in a way, you know. I mean, like there was hair metal in the 80s that lasted what, 8, 10 years maybe.
I'm curious.
And then grunge was like 88 to probably roughly around the time Cobain died.
Right. Yeah.
You know, there's like 60s and 70s. That's like just like
Yeah, your
hippie classic
disco.
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was disco, but
In the
that's like.
70s. And
But
funk
punk
and
rock was
stuff.
always just sort of like when it started, it never left.
No, because it would always stay alive within the communities.
Yeah.
And there's like the DIY aspect around it and the community base that always keeps it going.
Yeah.
Which I think is so respectful. And I think, again, something we've been reminded on about this like 5-day tour is recognizing how much community there is behind it all. And like it's such an interconnected web that's so supportive, that's just so fucking cool. Like you have people with their patched up vests, and like that's such a common question for merch. It's like, oh, I want to buy a patch, and then you get like thrown onto the patchwork of the vest. That's so cool. But yeah, like I think to me one of the most important aspects of punk is the community behind it. And I think that's what kept it going like along all the years. It's cool that there's the mainstream popular punk that brought it to more masses, but it's like with gratitude to bands like Green Day, Blink-182, and Avril Lavigne, it exposed the subculture to kids to go find like their own unique way to express themselves, which has been cool. And it's cool to see just punk always staying alive. I don't think it'll ever die.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm curious, like, how's this experience of a punk tour being for you, Alex, compared to the touring that you've done in all the different genres you've experienced?
Yeah, while you're talking about that, I was thinking about the show we played last night. So we got to play at the bowling alley in Powell River. It was a wicked venue. Like we're playing, and on the other side of this wall with windows in it, there's like, I don't know, 5 to 10 lanes and people just bowling at the same time. And the thing we were really appreciating at the show is that there was like 3 generations in the audience. There was like people with white hair, there's like the young punkers who are maybe, you know, in their teenage years now, lots of adults, you know, people our age, and then there's also like, there was like a micro mosh pit of like 5-year-olds.
Oh, that's so cute.
There was like the main mosh pit at the front, and then at one point there was like the mini mosh pit. Nobody got hurt. But it was just really cool to see like, not just a community of people who are into like the same message or the same ideal, but like a genuine community as in cross-generational.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
have the grandparents or grandkids all like rocking out to this loud, aggressive, rambunctious music. And it's just really cool to see everyone kind of like throw down together So that really stands out to me, and that's shows up in some genres, but it feels pretty rare to see like a whole community come together. Like
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
Where's my? I actually did write some questions
He's got
here.
notes.
Oh, nice.
I did.
Are you gonna Nardwar us?
Okay, my favorite punk band happens to be within this question.
Cool.
Social Distortion. Bad. No. Let's take Bad Religion. I want to say something. Someone else.
Yes.
Okay. Social Distortion. Green Day. Or The Adolescents. You gotta fuck one, marry one, kill one, go.
Okay. I would kill. You said Bad Religion. Do I get to kill?
No. I exchanged Bad Religion for The Adolescents. So Social Distortion, Green Day,
Okay.
and Adolescents. You gotta fuck one, marry one, kill one, go.
I would marry Green Day because just the songwriting is amazing, and then I would kill the Adolescents because why would I kill them? I'm just trying to think. Amoeba is such
Because
a super
Social
fun
Distortion is Dan's favorite punk band, that's why you won't kill them.
Yeah, no, I can't kill your favorite punk band. And Social D, Mike Ness is such a beauty, and he has such a great heart of gold that it's like he deserves an orgasm.
Yes.
So I would definitely give Mike Ness an orgasm as a thank you for his contribution to the punk scene, and would marry Green Day.
Awesome.
I was gonna give the same answers, but the only reason that was different is like Green Day, you get a really good divorce settlement. So you
would get a really great divorce settlement.
Yeah, the same answer for me because like Green Day would be the one that I connected to most out of those three. One of the other earliest albums that I got was International Super Hits, which was like all the killer songs. Then I'd say I'd fuck Social D because they were great at Rock the Shores, and I got to see them there.
Sweet.
When were they at Rock the Shores?
That was probably like 2016, I believe.
Okay.
2015 or 2016, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was my favorite festival when I was still going on. And then like I haven't really listened to much of the Adolescents. So.
Awesome.
I guess they get the chop.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. I do have to say that, okay, not just because Social Distortion is my favorite punk band, but that is a very fucking cool addition to add to Rock the Shores. Like an old school punk band. That's fucking rad.
Yeah, it's so cool that they brought them up.
Have you seen the lineup for Skafest?
Yeah, Skafest coming up this year. Dude, it is like the punkest Skafest yet.
What are some of the bands?
So, guess who's the headliner? Freaking Propagandhi from Winnipeg.
Oh, okay.
And the funny thing is, they have a song called Ska Sucks. And they're the headliner of Skafest.
Excellent.
That's punk. That's punk.
Yeah, it's so rad. So, shout out to Dane Roberts for getting this lineup of Skafest. Ska and Reggae Festival 2025. It's the 26th anniversary of it. So we get to play on Sunday, June 22nd at Ship Point.
Sweet.
Yeah, and so we get to open up for Ill Scarlet, which is super special to me because they are one of the first bands I ever saw on a big stage at Rogers Arena, which was GM Place at the time. But the first time I ever saw Blink-182 in 2009 on the reunion tour, Ill Scarlet opened up. So they were like the first ever band I saw on a big stage, and I remember at that show, I'm like, this is what I'm here to do for the rest of my life. And so it's cool now, like, getting to open for them on another big outdoor stage festival, which is going to be super sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Stoked for you guys.
You're saying you'd also fuck Ill Scarlet if you could.
Yes, I would pass along an orgasm. Wait, yes, I would happily pass along an orgasm. Maybe not directly from me, but I would find a
You go
great
to the booby bar.
yeah, I would steward an orgasm for them.
We'll have our chance at Skullfest.
Cool. So you have any questions for me? I mean, you don't know anything about me. I just kind of
Well, you're East
reached
Van
out.
Dan.
In some circles, but Dan's fine.
Okay. So with the East Van Dan,
Yeah.
how long have you been Vancouver Island Dan?
Vancouver. Well, I was born and raised here.
Okay, cool.
I lived in Vancouver for 8-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that's where I started recording at Blue Light Studios.
Oh, Blue Light.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nick from Blue Light Studios, he hates my fucking guts with a passion. The second day in there, like, just met him. I brought in strippers, and I was naked, and we were all naked. And there was a bunch of shenanigans going on, but he still kept me around to record my debut album, Memoirs of a Wild Man. Check it out on Spotify.
Sweet. Plug it.
And just that's I lived like off of East Hastings.
Yeah.
So that's how East Van Dan came to be.
Right on.
Cool.
And were you in housing, or were you like living on East Van?
No, I had a residence.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were a residence.
Yeah. A very shitty residence. I had in my shitty little apartment,
Yeah.
I had bees, cockroaches, and there was one rat that was spotted.
Yeah, so it's
So
like you're
I had-
living in a jungle.
It was
The city
pretty much,
jungle.
and I lived right across the street from the downtown East Side Women's Center.
Okay,
So there was some pretty gnarly individuals.
I imagine.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about the bees. That sounds like
Yeah,
such a nice pet.
I came home one day,
Mhm.
and I was in Nanaimo visiting over the weekend, and I came back, and it's like late, and I just went to bed, and I like started hearing the bzz, bzz,
Mhm.
and I didn't know like where the fuck are these bees coming
Were you
from?
neighbors
They
with
were-
Winnie the Pooh or something?
No, I was not. There was a nest growing within the windowsill.
Okay.
Yeah, and they couldn't like remove like the wall where it was like fucking like growing in or whatever.
Mhm.
So luckily, 3 doors down, they moved me to another room, which happened to be fair game at the
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for this French girl that lived across from me, I happened to ruin the next year of her life with my shenanigans, playing loud music,
Mhm.
having sex with prostitutes in the corridors,
Mhm.
throwing,
Living it up.
instigating lobby parties. And then, by the way, this was all during lockdown when this whole chaotic period of my life began.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wild. And so, what kind of music was coming out of you at that time?
Well, I wasn't really doing anything in the professional sense.
Yeah.
What was I jiving to at the time? I mean, I grew up on like music that that was like influenced by like my parents. Like actually, me and my buddy, my oldest friend in the book, our favorite band. Well, I don't know if they still are, because I'm not a huge fan of them at the moment. But I would say the original lineup of Guns N' Roses. And I grew up on like Sabbath and.
When did Mike Ness and Social D come in the picture for you?
Oh, I would say in my teens for sure. Yeah.
And did you stumble across them just yourself on your own journey?
Well, I play guitar, and like I started out, learning like Ramon songs and all that. So.
Oh, okay. This reminds me. I just heard a cover of Bob Dylan's song that Mike Ness did, and I really want to hear it again.
Homestruck Blue?
No. Don't Think Twice.
Don't Think Twice.
Yeah, have you heard that cover?
I'm pretty sure he did like a whole. Is it new or is this?
It's got to be old.
Okay, yeah, because I think in like around Woodstock '99 time, Mike Ness did like a full on fucking solo, like kind of like country album.
Right. Yeah. So I
a lot of covers on it.
That. Yeah. But I really want to go back and hear that. I just heard that at the skate shop at the Half Pipe.
Nice.
And because Steve, who runs Influence Board Shop, he was just playing a big old list of stuff that he grew up on, and I heard that. I was like, what? I didn't know Mike Ness covered this song. It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's a kick-ass little plug. I just want to give a big shout out to Steve and Justine, who run Influence Board Shop, who let us put on a all-ages show at their shop where they have a half pipe. And we got to play there. We brought in Danger Box and Chief State and Halfway Atlantic, and Joel Cassette opened up the night on acoustic guitar. And you gotta go check out Joel Cassette. He's got some super rad pop punk songwriting that he's been doing. But that show was hilarious.
Dope.
Somebody ended up breaking their arm while skating to our set in the half pipe. And we had to shut down our set early. Luckily, it was just like the second last song of our set. But dude, like, it was wild to see his arm. It was like the music we were playing sent a freaking waveform into his arm and turned it into an odd looking waveform. And we hope that he is doing much better now. But then the wild story of that is that the ambulance attendants who came to fix him, they fell in the half pipe.
And they got fucked up.
And so then there was an ambulance that came for the ambulance, and outside there was 3 ambulances and a fire truck, and it was just lunatic. But
that's great.
Everybody is okay, and it was a very punk rock show. It was a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so shout out to Steve and Justine, who are running Influence Board Shop and opening a new all-ages venue called Community, which is going to be downtown. And I believe it's 460 Yates Street. But it's just on the corner.
You have a great memory. I thought you said you were tired.
Yes, I am very tired on this day 5, but we've got some good positive thoughts still circling around in here to ejaculate out this Razorvoice.
Awesome. Cool. Well, looking forward to the show tonight. I think I'm going to do a podcast with We Are Not a Cult.
Yeah.
Find out if they are actually a cult.
Yes. Yeah, you gotta let us know.
I will.
See if there's some positive benefits to joining the cult.
Yeah. I think if I was gonna be a part of a cult, I would have to be the leader.
Yes.
Yeah. They do things for you.
Yeah,
right?
That's the position where you get the most benefits.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like you're in a cult in this Razorvoice project?
Yes. Ben is not a cult leader.
And that is exactly what they're paid to say.
Exactly. Cool. Well, want to give a shout out to anyone else?
Let's see. What is around us? Well, right now, right in front of me is you. So shout out to East Van Dan for having us in here and chatting.
Yeah.
And then,
it's been a good time.
Yeah, I want to go listen to some of your music that you put out.
Actually, I released a song the other day called Johnny Rye.
Johnny Rye.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And under what artist name?
East Van Dan.
East Van Dan, Johnny Rye.
Yeah.
We're going to go listen to it after this, as you are. And then, what else? I'm going to give a shout out to... I'm wearing a Brutal Youth shirt by him. So, shout out to Patty. Love you, dude. And all the rest of the guys in the band and Stomp Records. We played...
Killer band from Toronto.
Yeah, we've gone and played 2 kick-ass shows with them. Awesome band from Toronto. Or Toronto, depending on where you're from. But I definitely know I'm a Toronto guy. And because I haven't dipped my toes enough in the Toronto scene.
The Globe too, Finn.
Yeah, shout
Shout out to
the
Rich.
Globe.
Globe.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rich, for just having this accessible space for all ages shows. Thank you to Finn for bringing the community together. Like, he's a future Canadian legend already right now. I just love seeing the amount of positivity he brings with him everywhere. Like, every time he listens to anybody's song, he's able to say something positive about it right away, and we just need that energy, like, moving around, moving everybody forward, and just catalyzing this music scene. And also so proud for Danger Box to be heading out on a month-long Canada-wide tour from May. So go check out where they're playing and just become a part of this community, especially as Canadians right now, all across our country. We have so many beautiful people to connect with, and we deserve to support one another. And yeah, anybody else you guys want to shout out to?
Yeah, the Glow. We had the not new for Ben, but for us, we got to meet John Wright last night, who's a total gentleman and cool guy to talk to. And again, just kind of that hitting that same theme of like the generations of musicians passing down what they know. It's really cool. Yeah, I think you got the other shout outs I would go to.
Yeah, I think you guys covered them. But,
Shout someone out!
Yeah, I just wanted to really shout out Finn and his wealth of knowledge at his age, like all things music related, and yeah, go see Danger Box in May across Canada.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Awesome, boys. Well, yeah, looking forward to the show tonight. And on that note, y'all are off the East Van Dan Shit Show. Peace.
Much love. Keep on rocking.
Fuck, man.
Sweet.
good,
Thank
man.
you so much, man.
Anytime, man.
Hell yeah. I'm stoked to see you keeping this up.
Yeah.
And then we'll see what goofy energy these guys bring. Is it
Is this Miracle?